When you're selling on Amazon, it is natural that time to time your customers will be returning the products back to Amazon. And once it happens, there is a loss on the Amazon seller side. In this video, I talked to Vladi from Sellerboard, the profit dashboard, where he explained the exact costs and loss you get when the customer returns the product. And also he shares some tips how you can reduce the cost of returned products. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe below with a button, click the button on the YouTube video, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Hello, Vladi.
Hi, Augustus. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you are representing Sellerboard. Can you introduce a little bit to this platform?
Sure. So Sellerboard.com is our profit analytics tool for Amazon sellers. Actually, we position it, or we have the vision to be the world's most accurate profit analytics. So we are about basically finances and management accounting specifically for Amazon sellers.
And today we will be talking about return costs, which Amazon sellers are facing, and you will help us to understand how to reduce the cost, right?
Exactly. So what, first of all, what the true costs are, and then how to reduce the return costs.
All right. So let's jump into the details and see how to be smart.
All right. So here's the thing: most sellers don't really understand true cost of returns. We're talking to a lot of customers about this and getting a lot of questions. From our experience, this is really a profit killer number one for a lot of Amazon sellers, and it's especially dangerous because it's very underestimated, right? So normally sellers think like, okay, what's the big deal with the return? I'm just going to sell this item again, right? But that's not quite true. And I summarized here, how to calculate the true cost of returns. And I'd like to show you a couple of visuals here. So basically, let's try to understand first, to understand what's the true cost of every return. Let's try to understand how much money we earn per order. And I made a chart here. So imagine we're selling something for $18.90. And there might be some shipping expenses added to it, but for this example, let's say the shipping is free. So first of all, Amazon is charging us the referral fee, for example, 15%. So we need to subtract this from the sum. Then we're paying the FBA fee, depending on how big your product is, and so on. This is the FBA fee. I think that that should be clear for everybody. And now if we want to calculate the profit, then we also need to subtract the cost of goods. And I just assumed here it's $4, right? So if you're in Europe, then you're also, then you also need to pay VAT. That's sort of a sales tax in Europe. So you need to subtract it from the price because sellers are supposed to collect it and then pay it to the tax authorities. And then we're left with a profit. Right, so in this case, it's a product for roughly $19 and or 19 euros if you're in Europe, and we're left with more than $6 profit. So it's okay, right? So now let's try to explore what happens when a customer sends a refund or return, sends the item back. So the moment somebody initiates the return, Amazon pays back the whole amount of money back to the customer, and they actually don't wait until the item arrives in the FBA warehouse. They just pay it immediately. They assume that they trust the customer. They assume that they will send the item back, and so the customer gets the money back even before they send the item back. But it's not all. They also charge. I'm not sure if you can see this. They also charge a so-called refund fee, which is like 15% on 15% referral fee, or depending on the category. So you immediately pay for every refund. In this case, it's in my example, it's 57 cents. Okay, then of course, if we're in Europe, then we will get the VAT back from from tax authorities for every refund, or rather not paid in the first place. So we need to add this back. And Amazon is also very fair, and for every refund, they will reimburse us the referral fee, right? So that's kind of cool. And then the thing is, we need to understand, is the item which was returned sellable or no? Because if it was sellable, you see here, when we were calculating the profit, we subtracted the cost of goods. Now, if we got the item back and it's still sellable, then we actually need to add it, because we can actually sell the item again, right? But now, if you calculate all these numbers, we're left with a huge loss here. And this is a surprise for most of the sellers. So we see it's like $9. And most of our customers, when they see it first time, like, oh, okay, why is it so much? Now let me explain you why. So basically, when you sell an item, right, you kind of book this profit, $6.68, the moment you make the sale. So for example, if you sold it last month, and the return came this month, then your last month's bookkeeping, more or less, is probably already closed. And Amazon also won't decrease the number of units sold when a refund comes in. So if you sold 100 units last month, and then 10 of them were returned later, Amazon will still say, you sold 100 items. So a lot of sellers tend to just multiply the number of items sold by their average profit, but they kind of ignore the refunds in this calculation. So this loss is basically compensating the profit that we already made. So big part of this loss is just canceling out the profit previously made, because we're not supposed to change bookkeeping after the fact, right? And another part of this loss is the FBA fee, which we're not getting back. So the referral fee and basically just the referral fee and the VAT, if you're in Europe, we're getting back, but the FBA fee, we're not getting back. And also another thing is this refund fee. So it's also basically money that we're losing. But actually, it might be even worse than that. So in case your item is not sellable but broken because the customer just broke the packaging, then your loss is even bigger, because you don't get the cost of goods reimbursed, more or less, right? So in this case, it's a huge loss. You see, we made $6 here when we made a sale, and the moment the refund comes in or the return comes in, it's like $13 in my example. It's twice the profit. So every returned item in my example, as I said, you need to see your numbers exactly. It kills 2 sales, right? So think about this, because from my experience, most of the guys forget it. And another question is how to calculate this correctly and automatically. Like if you want to use our tool Sellerboard, then we have this refund costs basically listed for every product, every day, every period of time, fully automatically. And we also automatically evaluate if the item is sellable or not. Right, and this is a real life example. So the numbers, this is a demo account. The numbers are made up, but they have they are like aligned with the real life. And in this case, we have 20% of net profit killed by refunds. So now the question is, okay, we kind of understand what the refunds or returns rather cost us. What can we do about it? How to reduce the cost? And I summarized a couple of tips here. So first of all, like understand why the customers are returning your items. And you can look it up in the Seller Central. I wrote here where basically in the report section, you can view all returns and see the reason there. And actually, depending on the category, I guess, or on the order, you can even click on this reason and see the comment that the customer wrote. And this is very valuable, so don't forget it. Just inspect your refund reasons now and then. You will find a lot of interesting stuff there, or if no, then then you're okay, I guess. Another thing you could do is you could use an autoresponder or like an email campaign tool, which sends a message to every customer who refunded, who requested for requested a return or a refund. right? So you just write them a nice email and ask, okay, what is it and what went wrong, and is there anything I can do for you? This way you can understand what the true reason is. So only this way, of course, you can improve. If there's something wrong with the product which you can correct, then you should do it, because it's really basically reducing returns is adding cash to your bottom line. All right, then a couple of other things. For example, you can optimize your pictures and add dimensions to your images, because oftentimes, of course, depends on the products. Customers don't have a good feeling or understanding on the size of the product, so they order something, they're like, oh, okay, it's bigger than I thought, so I'll send it back. If you add dimensions directly to the images instead of just putting them only in the text, this might help also. Of course, you can optimize texts. In the end, you need to know what the reasons are, what's confusing about your product. If there's something confusing, maybe the return rate is just normal, for your category, then you're good, of course. And then stuff like, okay, you need a better quality product. That's kind of obvious, but one more thing that you can do is optimize the packaging. So the thing is, if your packaging is like not closable, right? So if like for example, if your items are sealed in a way, then the customer opens the item, looks at it, sends it back, and then Amazon says, okay, the packaging is damaged, right? Because there's no way to close it in a way that it looks new. So if that's the case, but you are very sure that your products are not broken often, then just invent or work on your packaging. So for example, you can make a transparent plastic box which is closable, right? Then on one hand, the Amazon employee will be able to see what's in the box if the product is there, and if it looks complete. So if somebody just sends the box back, for example, then obviously they will notice, okay, something's wrong with the product. But on the other hand, if it can be closed, then the chances are that Amazon will just define this product or identify it as sellable, and then it can be sold again. Of course, it depends on the category, because some categories, or in some categories, it's better not to reuse returns. It's better to send them to your prep center or just throw them away and not send them to customers as new, because it might also lead to problems. So that's your decision. But my message here is just think about your packaging. So all in one, think about returns. It's a really huge profit killer. Use your transaction report in the Seller Central to assess their cost, or use Sellerboard, and I will post an affiliate link below. You'll get a bonus, which is a 2 months free trial instead of 1 month free trial. And remember that it's true cash. Less returns results in cash.
Thank you, Vladi, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. See you.
I hope you liked these few tips Vladi shared with you, how to minimize the cost of returned products. And if you want to hear more tips for Amazon sellers, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel of Orange Klik, and I see you in the next videos.